She's a daughter of Kenya who has made China her home. An African model and entrepreneur living out her China dreams. Join us on Up Close to meet Doris Kwaka. Hello and welcome to Up Close. I'm here at the Four Seasons Hotel in Beijing, where I'm going to be speaking with African model and entrepreneur Doris Kwaka. Doris, it's such a pleasure to have you here on Up Close.
It's my pleasure.
So I can see now why you have the perfect body type for modeling. These legs are incredibly long and beautiful. Tell me, how long have you been modeling for?
I've been modeling for almost 10 years. I started doing it when I was 16 back in my country. And I thank God, Kenyans, we have long legs. That's why we do the marathon. And it's been really a plus.
So the long legs is something from your ethnicity?
Yes. From my tribe, most people are slim and thin and tall and skinny with long legs.
Absolutely beautiful and graceful. I'm so envious. So how were you discovered? You said you started modeling when you were 16.
Yes, back in my country, a friend of mine just took me to, in my school, my nickname was Model in my high school.
Why did you have that nickname?
I guess...
Because you always looked like a model?
I suppose. And so we went for vacation, and my friend said, okay, there's a modeling agency, you should go. So we went to this agency, and then I was so lucky that they were casting for a commercial for Telcom, and it was going to go on TV. So I was so lucky they picked me, and it was a commercial about internet. So there was this old woman. So I was this young girl starting to check something on the website, on the internet, and then it took forever, and then I changed to be this old woman. So it went on TV, and it made me quite okay, and then I started doing magazines, and then I eventually went to Europe, based mostly in Italy, and here I am in Beijing. Right.
Wait, so your first modeling assignment or acting assignment was on television?
Yes.
And what, did you have were you speaking in that role, or it was just your image?
It was just my image.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that made you instantly famous. What did your friends at school say then?
Oh, it was amazing, because actually they would watch me in school. We had when we used to go to the dining room where you go to have dinner, and so we sit together as classmates, and there was TV to watch news, and so it was great when they're like, oh my God, that's Doris, model. Yeah, it was fun.
Did that change you? How did that change you, I guess? Instant fame, all your friends recognize you. Were you recognized on the streets?
Yes, they do. And actually it's been really a humbling thing for me, because even in China I meet people who just look at me on the streets and they go, oh my God, you know, and it really humbles me, and it makes me who I am, because I don't want to disappoint people. I embrace it really positively.
So from the television assignment, you have done mostly fashion. You like the runway.
I love the runway.
What is it about the runway? What is it about fashion that you love?
I love beauty and grace, and I just enjoy that everyone is seated, and whatever I am selling, be it a bag or a dress, and sometimes I complain when the runway is very short, because I love the runway, and I do it really. It's passion. It's just some feeling that I enjoy.
It's like a performance, isn't it?
Yes, it's really.
You feel exhilarated when you're doing it.
Yeah, I enjoy. I enjoy my job.
So you said you went to Italy. How did that opportunity arise? A young Kenyan girl getting the opportunity to go to Italy.
Yes, it was very interesting, because I was working for a traveling agency in my country, and then it was Italian, so I needed to speak Italian, because most of the clients coming were pensioners, and if they never studied English before, it was easier if I spoke Italian. So I went there for 3 months, and then when I was there, one of the clients said, oh, I have this wine that I would like to advertise, and I want it to be a Maasai. A Maasai in Africa, in Kenya, is someone who lives, it's a tribe that they live in the jungle, and they've stayed there, and they still continue with the tradition. Right. So they are mostly regarded as primitive, because they haven't really embraced modern technology and stuff like that. And so it was his idea to make it look like, oh my God, even a Maasai knows this one, then it must be really famous. So he looks at me and says, are you Maasai? And I'm like, I'm a Luo, but I could pull for a Maasai. And I was already modeling, so that's how I started modeling in Italy, doing this advertisement for Barolo wines. And then
Barolo wines are spectacular.
Yes, yes, fantastic, amazing. Yeah, and then I stayed there for 5 years, just doing modeling and still working for this traveling agency on the side.
Mm-hmm. Is that a passion of yours, travel?
Oh, actually, it really became, because after I stayed in Italy for a long time, and I came to Kenya one time, and then I saw a group of 60 Chinese people, and I said, wow, this is where I should go. So I went over to speak to them, and they couldn't speak English. So I decided, okay, I'm going to start my own traveling agency, and I'm going to China to study Chinese to be able to communicate to these people. So that's how I ended up coming to China.
So it was travel that brought you over to China. It wasn't modeling at first.
It wasn't modeling, actually, because I figured out I couldn't be a model like forever. So I wanted to have like a business on the side, and I was already in this traveling agency thing, and I enjoyed it, just guiding, and I had a connection with the nature, with these animals, with it was something I really loved doing. So I decided to come here to learn the language, to actually start bringing the Chinese to do luxury safari. And I initially wanted to stay for 6 months, and then walking on the streets, people were scouting, like, are you a model? And I never leave my heels. I love them. I love high heels, and it just flushes my long legs, and it was a plus. So I was scouted for on the street, and they're like, are you a model? Can you model? And I'm like, yes, I can. And so I started modeling, and I've been here for 3 years now.
So you never intended to model in China. So I heard you've won competitions in China. Tell me about those.
Well, the most recent was in Chengdu. And we were 60 models from
all
10...
international?
Only international. Okay, 50 international, then 10 Chinese models.
Okay.
And it was really amazing. So we were representing our countries. Like I was representing Kenya, and they were representing other 51 countries. And of course, there was only going to be one winner. And so it was okay, because we stayed there for 14 days. And it was not really like a camp, but it was nice because, I mean, we were living in a nice hotel, getting together to know all these girls. We became friends, and it was amazing. So we were divided in 6 groups of 10 each. And then every day we had assignments. Some models would go this side, some models would go do this. And it was just amazing that at the end of it all, we had like top 20, and then they were calling the top 20, then the top 10, and then the top 3. And so when they called my name, I was so amazed, because all the girls were like, Doris, Doris. And I felt really humble that they were supportive. I mean,
so it was a total surprise. I mean, out of 60 models.
Yes, I mean, and I was surprised, and I mean, what really humbled me is that the other girls were really happy for me. I mean, I expected envy, like, oh yeah, she won, you know, but they were all over and clapping, and it felt nice.
Tell me about, is there a sisterhood when you're modeling with other, with other models? Or is it, like you said, or does it tend to be very competitive?
It is very competitive, but I thank God that I have a very good personality. Like, for instance, yesterday, I was doing a show at the Jinbao shopping mall next to the Regent. It was the 4th anniversary of the show, so they had an event, and one of it was a fashion show. There was Corneliani and then Tanya for the female models. And it was Chinese, 10 male models and 10 female models. The female models were Chinese, but me. And then we had 5 foreign male models, and then 5 Chinese male models. And I ended up making friends with everyone. I mean, I was with the Chinese female models because we were in the line together. We chatted, we laughed together, and then I bonded with the male models. We had fun. Actually, I remember at the end of the show, all the male models were like, can we take photos with you? And I'm like, okay, cool. The Chinese girls are like, oh, Doris, please give me your number. I'll call you when you have a job. And then the male models, we went together back home, like, oh, are you going this way? Let's go together. So it's more of a personality thing. I'm easy to talk to, and just like Kwaka, I embrace people. So,
right, Kwaka means to embrace.
Yes.
In Swahili?
In Luo, which is my dialect.
Yeah, which is your tribe, your dialect.
Yes.
It's beautiful. And it seems to suit your personality.
Apparently.
So how is modeling different? You've modeled in Kenya, you've modeled in Italy, you're now doing a lot of modeling in China. How is it different between these three countries?
I would say, like in China, I have had a lot of opportunities, because in China, sometimes you're not just modeling on the runway, sometimes you're like being paid to be a VIP somewhere, and there's more opportunities, and it's easier to network because it is easy to rub shoulders with people you wouldn't really be close to when you're in Europe or Africa. So I think China has been the best because there's a lot of opportunity, and just like I said, I came to study the language. While in China, one of the people that I took to Kenya was like, Doris, I would like to go and come back with something like minerals. So I started doing Gamestone Safari, where I actually take people, and I mean, this idea would not have been born, why not for China?
So you're seeing a lot of opportunities aside from modeling.
Exactly.
Here in China. All right, when we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more about those other opportunities from Doris Kwaka. Stay tuned. She's a daughter of Kenya who has made China her home. An African model and entrepreneur living out her China dreams. Join us on Up Close to meet Doris Kwaka. And welcome back to Up Close, where I'm speaking with African model and entrepreneur Doris Kwaka. Doris, we were talking about your modeling career here in China, but you also said earlier, you said you knew you could not be a model forever. What does that mean? Why?
Beauty is not forever, they say, but you can use that beauty to still embrace other ideas. And so modeling, I know that I am a model, and I will still do modeling, like, you know, like probably be a mother, but I cannot remain on the runway forever, which is something that I really like. I could probably just do photo shoots and stuff. So I decided to start other ideas, like the traveling agency, at least stick with the business. And then being in China, especially Beijing, unfortunately for the weather, it's very dry. So I had to like find butter, and then when it's very cold, like winter, I ended up going to, like, Bali is a place I love very much in Indonesia. And then I found that the weather is just like my country. And then they have this nice body butter. So I started bringing the body butter that I was using here. And then my friends were like, oh, this is really good. I started sort of selling it to my friends, like, you want, I'll bring some. Okay, get me the money. And then so I came up with my friend, who's my best friend from high school. We grew up together. Her name is Francisca. She moved to the US and she became a citizen, like when we were still in high school. And we've been doing business together. So we came up with this idea of starting a line for spa products, which we call Leritia 1789, which is actually the scientific name for eucalyptus. So, I mean, thank God to China and my friend, we started this, and now we sell spa products, and we make like body massage oil, essential oils, facial masks, soap, and things like that. And I mean, thanks to Beijing.
Thanks to Beijing, because Beijing's such a dry climate, you
Yes.
needed something to keep moisturized.
Exactly.
But how has it been difficult as a foreigner to establish a business and sell here in Beijing?
Yes, it's been very, very difficult, and actually the company is registered in Nairobi, which is in my country, because here I am a student and I use a student visa. I am studying at the Beijing Institute of Fashion and Technology, so technically I cannot register business here, you know, but probably from Hong Kong, and you know,
Right.
yeah, and modeling has given me opportunities to network, and like, I rub shoulders with people, and they manage the hotel where you're having the show.
So many opportunities,
Yeah,
right?
so you get to talk to the manager, and they introduce you to the one in charge of the spa, and you supply.
What has been your proudest moment in modeling here in China specifically? Is there one photo shoot that you just really loved?
The one that I really, really loved was one, I think 2 years ago, Fashion Week. And it was the show that opened the celebration, and every other model was Chinese, but 5 male models, and I was the only foreign model girl, and I was opening the show, and I felt so proud opening this show. And actually this photo, when I sent my photos to clients, like when it's been all over, like when I go to do the show, it's the photo I see they put there. When I went to another city to do a job, they were using that photo to promote. We are like on the bus, and I'm like, oh my God, that's me on the billboard. Oh my God, that's me on the bus station. And it was from
It must be really strange to see your face on the bus, on the side of a bus, going down the street.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, and it was from this photo. And it was on the runway, so it wasn't a photo shoot. I just posed, and it was so natural, and I keep seeing it everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, I did a good job. So I'm really proud of that photo.
So you talked about how you opened the show. Do you feel proud? I mean, you must feel very proud of your heritage. You know, you're a daughter of Kenya. You must be very, very proud when you're up there in front of a lot of, you know, an audience of Chinese people, not only Chinese, but the international world when you're doing these fashion shows. Does that come into play for you, you know, your heritage as you're walking down the runway?
Yes, it does. I mean, people call me African Queen out there, the Africans on the streets.
African Queen.
Yes. And so when I am given the opportunity to like open the show, and I really feel, okay, this guy really believes in me, and I'm really going to do it good. And so I think as an African, I grew up with this personality of being bold and standing out there. And so when I have this opportunity to do it, I just do it good.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a very strong knit community, the African community, yes?
Yes, actually, in Beijing, I am a member of the Commonwealth Society of Beijing, which is all ambassador spouses and diplomats from Commonwealth Society. I mean, everyone appears to be a diplomat but me, so I tend to meet a lot of the right African women in Beijing, and I mean other people from Commonwealth Society that are also here. So it's a nice opportunity. We've done a lot of charities, like especially when they had the Sichuan earthquake. We provided water worth $1 million there. We had a gala dinner where we raised like 100,000 RMB to provide to these people. We're building a home in Hebei for the old age. And all this we're doing in China. You know, the charities are just in China. And I feel that I really have a purpose for this. And
to help in China too.
Yes.
Sino-African relations are actually really strong.
Yes, it's growing day by day, and I feel very proud to be a part of this.
You mentioned before that you started a travel service, Gemstone Safaris, for Chinese clients to Africa.
Yes.
Is there a lot of, I'm sure a lot of people are coming up to you and they're interested in travel. I mean, there's a lot of fascination about Africa, travel or commerce, all sorts of different aspects. So can you tell me about that appetite, that thirst for learning more about Africa?
I really thank God. You know, like when you come from a place you don't really go. People come to China and they're like, oh, I went to this province, and like, oh, I've never even been there. So I am so lucky that in my country I know it so well, because I did this guiding for 2 years, studied this, and then I had the experience of working for the X company. And in China I've actually done 2 trips, and sometimes it is one of the reasons why I want to go home. And all my friends, when they speak to me, they're like, oh my God, when you speak about Kenya, you just beam. There are memories that are what you it's a feeling, it's a connection you don't really want to miss. You know, like you're seated there and probably just enjoying the sunset, and then there's a group of elephants just walking, strolling, a big family, or beside you is like a giraffe, and sometimes they look at you and you look at them with the eyes, and your eyes meet. It's a relationship that is very special.
I could feel how passionate you are about your country.
And it's very easy for me to sell this, because when I walk, I mean, people are like, so where are you from? I'm like, Kenya. Oh, you should go. It's very beautiful. Oh, by the way, I run a traveling agency. This is my card. And then, so it's easy for me to market.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course. And you've been everywhere in your country, so you understand it a lot. You know, I think you're absolutely right. A lot of people, when you live in a place, you may not always see the sights, and you may not travel around. Yeah. You kind of take it for granted. But the fact that you've seen everything.
So we
really
do Kenya and Tanzania and Ethiopia also, because they have opals also in Ethiopia, and I've been there. It's amazing.
One day I will go on that trip. All right, when we come back, we're going to hear more from African model and entrepreneur Doris Kwaka. Stay with us. She's a daughter of Kenya who has made China her home. An African model and entrepreneur living out her China dreams. Join us on Up Close to meet Doris Kwaka. welcome back to Up Close, where I'm talking with Doris Kwaka. Doris, what was childhood in Kenya like?
Oh, really nice. Actually, I grew up with boys. I was the only daughter.
Boys? How many brothers?
Two brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost my elder brother though. I have my younger brother who's like my real family. I really love him. I adore him. And we were living also with a cousin of ours who was a boy. So I grew up rough, and I thank God for that upbringing because it has made me a tough person and affected who I am today positively.
Why did you decide to make China your home? I mean, I know that it was opportunity that brought you here, but you've been here for a number of years now. Why have you decided to continue to stay here?
Actually, I think China just adopted me. You do this, and then there's another opportunity is coming, and then now I am at the university studying this fashion for 4 years. I have 3 more years to go. So while at it, I mean, I'm engaging with this, my businesses around, and there's always just reason to stay, and more reason to stay.
I know you also do have your own fashion line.
Yes, I call it DHK Fashion, which is actually my initials. And I do batik, hand-painted batik. I make all this in Bali. And all the ideas come from African, but it's just a different touch. I sketch everything from scratch and then put the colors, get creative, and I get the silk from China, do the hand-painted silk batik, and then come back and sell. And we now have a shop in Europlaza at Shunyi, and then there's another shop at Lido. It's called Redstone.
I'm thinking about all of the things that you do, modeling, you have a spa line, you have fashion, you're involved in so many different things. How do you do it all?
I thank God for my partner because we are friends and we push each other. Like just the other day, I was so amazed. I mean, I shipped to her a bag, a DHK bag with DHK clothes that she was going to send to a shop in Rhode Island. And she was like, oh my God, the lady took everything. And I'm like, wow, that's impressive. So she'd be like, okay, you need to bring some more. Then I'll have to make some more pieces. So there's always pressure from both corners.
We've been talking in this series of shows about the Chinese dream. You're obviously living out one of your dreams here in China. How do you feel like you're on your way to achieving this dream?
I strongly...
What is your dream?
My dream is to be a happy person, and happiness to me is satisfaction and achievement. So when I achieve all the goals I have set, I will be happy, and China has actually been the right place. I think I'm in the right place at the right time and around the right people.
You have a lot of Chinese friends. Have you seen them? You know, how do you interpret what their dreams might be and how they're going to achieve them?
Wow, that's a very difficult question to answer because I've been around different Chinese. Like when I am with the models, they're in a different world. They all come from rich Chinese money, and
the models come from money.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, most of them.
That's okay.
Most of them come from money, and most of them like, oh, I don't want to go to New York again. I just want to be in China. I mean, they've got this air, and of course you meet some other models who are really humble and
work hard.
Because
it is hard work, right?
Yes. So that's the other side. You meet people that are really humble, and you meet people that are all rich and, oh yeah, you know, that's...
all kinds of people.
Yeah, all kinds of people.
Right.
And you also meet... I've met the really nice people. Like, for example, when you take like the taxi, for instance, sometimes you meet a taxi driver who really just wants to talk to you and nice and know about your country. And it's even good when they know about it. When you meet like photographers, they really talk to you, or the makeup artist. You know, I have been lucky just to bump into nice people who are really nice. So I believe Chinese people are nice. And they're always welcoming, and they want you to love China. Oh, do you love China? What do you like to eat? Or do you eat spicy? For
what
example?
Do you like to eat in China?
Mapo tofu.
One of my favorites, spicy tofu.
Yes, I really love it. Yeah.
Are you a vegetarian?
Not really, but I sort of end up just eating vegetables and fish. I really don't eat meat that much, and it's nothing to do with weight loss or anything. It's just a habit I formed.
Doris, are you one of those really blessed women that no matter how much you eat, you will always look like this?
I totally agree. My metabolism rate is really good, and I thank God. I mean, even some of the models are like, Doris, what do you do? And I cannot even exercise because you'd see my arms, and I am just blessed. I am one of those. I thank God for it.
Very envious, very envious. So what is it about your home country that you miss, and would you ever go back?
Oh, I would love to go back and settle and build a home. It is my dream to actually build a factory for the spa products and do everything from my country. And I do go home from time to time with a traveling agency to take people around. Mm-hmm. And what I miss is my grandmother's food from her pot.
What does she cook?
We call it githeri. You know, it's a mixture of beans and maize, and you cook it slowly, like for probably the whole day in the pot, and it's something special, and it's different when my grandmother does it, because it's really traditional.
There's nothing better than grandmother's home cooking.
Yes.
What does your grandmother, what does your family say when they think of, oh, there's Doris, you know, she was in Italy and now she's in China. What are their impressions about your life out here in China?
They're really proud of me. They're really proud of me. And my grandmother says, oh, I only see you on TV. You should come home fast. I only see you in magazines. I need you to come home. You know, they miss me and they're very proud of me.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Doris, it was such a pleasure to have you here on Up Close. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And to your viewers at home, thanks for joining in. We'll see you next weekend on Up Close. Bye for now.